Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tina Blaze Show. I'm your host, Christina Freysinet, also known as Tina Blaze, and I have a very special guest for you all today. So I'm going to be interviewing none other than Wes Watkins. So Wes Watkins is a celebrity drummer, author, and entrepreneur. So he's basically the jack of all trades. So I'm super excited to have him. Let's welcome Wes Watkins.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. And yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. And I know we spoke a couple of minutes ago. Once again, I love your Monstars journey.
I,
So
I
dope. I love Space Jam. I feel like not every kid, but I mean, even if you're not a basketball fan, like Space Jam is just a classic movie, you know?
must see. Period.
It is a must see. And I'm a huge fan of Bugs Bunny and, of course, Michael Jordan. So,
I'm we on the same page.
exactly. Awesome. Well, Wes, I'm super excited to have you on my show today. So you are actually the very first musician that I've ever had,
Uh,
artist, but I've never had someone who was part of a band, you know?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm super excited to speak with you. And I know that you have been, working for quite some time,
hmm
but you're also an author and an entrepreneur. So you pretty much do everything, which is amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. Got to.
Of course. So yeah, I kind of want to just get started with, I guess, your music, right? So as a drummer, in my eyes, I think that's one of the best instruments to play. And it's mostly, yes, it's mostly because I just feel like, whenever a band starts to play, like even watching like, an award show, whenever someone brings out a band,
Mhm.
the drums kind of stand out. Like everyone gets
Right.
ready for drums, you know? I feel like the drums in itself kind of brings everyone together. Um, so I do want you to, of course, talk about like how you got started with music and maybe who or what influenced you to get started.
Yeah. So I got started in music. My dad, he plays drums. So literally from the first day I was born, he had drumsticks in my hand. Like it's just been that way. Like he used to say it all the time, but then he really showed me pictures. I was like, oh, you for real put drumsticks in my hand when I was born. Okay, cool. So, you know, yeah, so of course my dad, and then grew up in church playing, and then it kind of went from there. My dad had bands. I used to go listen to his band in the basement when they come over jam and go to gigs with my dad and stuff like that. So like I said, then ended up in church, and I ended up playing for go-go bands, and
Mhm.
up to start playing and for different artists, and then I started touring and everything like that. So that's how that whole thing happened. One of my main influences, honestly, is my dad, and my cousin's named Larry Dennis. He plays in my band with me now. He plays percussion. But
Mm.
growing up, I always went after those two, trying to imitate what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? And then my dad, he started, as I started growing older, started getting turned on to other drummers, to start looking at like Tony Williams, Dennis Chambers, and Billy Cobham, Louis Belts, and Buddy Rich, and a whole bunch of other people I know you probably might not know, but it was like, it was in that field like that really started inspiring me, you know what I'm saying, and pushing me to the direction I'm in now.
That's amazing. I love it. I love that your dad is your biggest influence. I
Yeah,
mean, not many people can say that, believe it or not. So,
yeah. He
um,
still plays today for real. Like
wow.
yeah,
Does he
yeah.
tour as well, or he just?
Nah, he doesn't tour. He just plays here, but he just did a gig like the other day. But just for the simple fact that he's still playing, like that's what I'm saying. Like yo, like my father's in the '60s and he's still gigging out here, like and getting it.
I like that. That's amazing.
Yeah,
You guys are very talented. That's dope.
thank
Um, and in terms of music, like, not everyone can read music. When I was younger, I played the clarinet for a few years.
you. Mhm.
I found it difficult to read it at first until after a while. So do you guys, I'm assuming you guys write your own music. Is that
Yeah,
right?
we
Okay.
we we produce our own.
Mhm.
I've played in band and I've done the marching band thing. I know how to read. Now the gigs I do, am I required to read? No. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't read in a very long time. So, I get the calls for I pick up I could pick up something, I could hear it once and I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So I fall into that category. So I'm the last minute. That's why I do the tours that I do, because I can hop right on without a practice, and as long as it ain't nothing crazy, and be good, and So yeah, but I don't have anything against it, but I just, in my field, I don't have to worry about the reading part. But
Right.
it's very great if people do know how to read. If you know how to read and you know how to play with feel and you know how to learn on spot, that just gets you many more calls and many more gigs headed your way so that you can stay consistently busy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's awesome. And it's funny that that kind of reminds me a little bit of Fantasia, the singer.
Mhm.
I know for a while she actually didn't know how to read in general, not just
Right.
music.
Just a, yeah, period. Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of similar to that in a sense too, because obviously you know how to read it, but once you hear a sound, you're able to play that same exact sound. But with her, she was able to hear, the lyrics in a song, obviously, and she was able to sing it. So that just kind of reminded me of that.
Got you. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And so your group is called Got My Own Sound, right? So when did you guys create this group and who created the actual title? Because I mean, I love it, right? You've got your own sound, so
Yeah.
you're different, right? You want to stand out.
Yep.
So how did that entire thing come about?
Got my own sound. I created Got my own sound back in like 2009. The
Hmm.
crazy thing is, it wasn't even for a band. Got my own sound was actually a clothing line at first. So
Oh,
yeah, I was trying to do the clothing thing, so I had got my own sound on hats and shirts and stuff, because got my own sound is not necessarily for the sound. Got my own sound is like it's a metaphor. So it's just like I'm my own person. I do my own thing. I'm me. I'm unique. Like for me, I don't like to dress like everybody. Everybody go right, I'll always go left. You tell me everybody's wearing suits tonight, I'm gonna show up in a vest. That's just me. So it's got my own sound. You stand out. So like I said, so it started off as a clothing line, and then I didn't really bring it around to the band part until 2013. I started putting the band together, and we recorded the first album that dropped in 2015, or 16. One of those two. I forgot. But it was around that time frame. Yeah, and then it really just started catching on and stuff like that. So when I play again, everybody just associates it with, hey, he got his own sound because he's unique when he plays, and it just stuck, and I just kept running with it.
hmm,
Still growing, and still more people finding out as the days go by.
right. That's awesome. That is so dope. It's funny. One of my biggest wishes, like I always wish I was able to sing. I just think most beautiful gifts to ever have. And in my head, I'm like, man, if I knew how to sing, I'd have my own band. Like, you
I
know what I mean? Like, oh my God, that's just so beautiful. That's
That's,
awesome. So during the pandemic, it's been pretty tough for everyone. So
yeah.
I how have things changed for you after the pandemic? Now that things are starting to open up, and also, have you learned anything about yourself? Because I feel like a lot of people have during the pandemic. I feel like I just kind of been, I don't know, I'm a little bit more humble. Like I've always been humble, but
Yeah,
I appreciate certain things now because of the pandemic.
yeah,
That's
yeah. I, I agree. The pandemic honestly was one of the best things to happen to me, because at first, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I thought my thing went on to my earpiece. I was like, what in the heck? Okay. But yeah, so it was one of the best things that happened to me, because it sat me down. Like, prior to the pandemic, I was gigging so much, my mind stopped going into entrepreneur mode because I was playing so much. And granted, that's a good thing, especially as a musician, to be consistent. Like, I stopped I stopped touring back in 2019. So to be home and working the amount that I was working was great. But I started getting so comfortable and just playing so much that I started taking away from my vision from the entrepreneur part. So when we couldn't gig no more, now I'm home. So it's like, okay, what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I started coming up with everything. Like any idea I had, I said, man, I'm going to go with it. You know, I was still able to do studio work. Um, I even had went back and got a 9 to 5 for like a few months because I was just like, man, like you know what, I want to be able to. I had so much I want to do, so I was like, I want to invest in my ideas that I have, and I was like, you know, I want to get it straight out the mud. I don't want nobody vessel. I went and got the job. So, anyways, this whole pandemic, it pushed me so much and gave me a newfound hunger to go above and beyond what I was already doing.
Hmm.
So I went into triple overdrive. And so during this pandemic, I wrote 3 children's books.
Wow. Oh, Wes, I can't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh man, shoot, hold on. I don't even know. I get the video back real quick. Uh, Hold on one sec. Let me see how we. I don't even know what the heck to even do. Okay, there you go.
See
Sorry.
you.
Yeah. So during this pandemic, I wrote 3 children's books, an ebook. I started my own fedora hat line. Brim hats that's be out within the next couple months. And then I also just started my own drumstick line, my drumstick company.
That,
Yes.
that's amazing. And
Yeah.
so, do you have a child? Is that kind of what?
Yeah, I have 2. My son is 13 and my daughter, she just turned 2 on Thursday on the 24th.
Oh, happy belated to her. How cute.
Yep. Yep.
Amazing. I love it. I love children. That's awesome. I love the whole children's book thing, because I mean, obviously, like children, a lot of them don't like to read, right? But I think that when you create a book for them, they're going to want to read, right?
Yeah.
Um, are you able to maybe give us a little snippet of what they're about?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so it's called I'm actually going back and forth with the titles right now, but the thing is the whole book is created for kids and their fathers. So um with everything, especially as black men, as us being killed in the news, you see us being gunned down,
Hmm.
and I always felt like as fathers in general, but especially as black men, you always have this stereotype like black men don't take care of the kids or they don't do this. And for me, I know a lot of great fathers, and especially I know a lot of great black fathers. So I
Hmm.
was, and I wanted to do so. That's one part of it. And then the other part of me doing this book was because there are kids out there who don't have a dad, and I never want them to also always just see us in the news killed, or always seeing a black man in the news being killed, or you hearing about it. So I'm like, man, let me create a book so that a kid that may not have a father. Oh, you good?
Sorry, my
Nah, both having problems out here.
my phone just popped off. My apologies.
Nah, you good, you good. But but yeah, it was like, man, I wanted to write the book so that kids who may not have a father figure in their life, they have
Mhm.
a book to look to that, hey man, even if I don't have a dad in my life, maybe I can grow to be something like this, or you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
that kind of thing. So I incorporated my kids in the book. And so it really just talks about why fathers need their kids and why kids need their fathers. Like my
Mhm.
kids are everything to me. You know what I'm saying? And so they give me life, and being able to speak into their lives and help impact their lives and stuff like that. It's just a book to make kids and fathers feel good. Any parent, I mean, a mother could read it too, but it's just like I haven't seen a children's book that has something to really do with just the dad part. You know what I'm saying? I'm not married. So it's just me and my kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, so I came from that part. So yeah. And like I said, it's gonna be uh for babies to 5 years old. I wrote one book kind of like nursery rhyme type style. And then for the 6 to 10 year olds, I put a little bit more in it for them to understand. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah. And then we're also gonna do a coloring book for it too. So it's gonna be 2 children's books plus a coloring book.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
That's super dope. I'm sure they're gonna love it as well. And
yeah.
do you know where we can find those books? Are you gonna sell them on like your personal website, Amazon, or?
it's going to be available everywhere. Amazon is going to usually we do Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and
Hmm.
it's a site called Lift Bridge Publishing. That's my the publishing company I go through, and I'll have some on hand too. I'm actually one of the illustrators, because I have two different illustrators doing both books, so
Hmm.
you can two different styles. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
actually sent me a sample today, so I'm like, it's looking good right now. Like they're getting me finished like ahead of schedule. So if everything happens the way it's supposed to, the books will be dropping probably mid-August, end of August, around that time frame.
Okay. That's
Yep.
awesome. We all have something to look forward to. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Yes. Like,
Perfect. Awesome. So I know that you released your fourth album called Shine Music.
Moonshine Music. Yep.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And I noticed, I actually read your article recently, and
Oh,
it said that you were, I guess your album, it debuted at number one on the iTunes chart for the jazz genre, which
yes,
is
indeed.
amazing. So congratulations. And I feel like, once you reach number one, it's like, can you go higher than that? So what do you think? Do you, I mean, I'm sure you have other goals that you want to accomplish, but how do you guys feel? Well, first of all, how did you feel, right?
Well, the crazy thing is the second album that came out hit number one. So
Oh,
for this, yeah. So the second album called Welcome to Our World that hit number. We were number one for I think I think we were number one for like one day, and then this one, the fourth album, was number one for like 2 or 3 days. But it felt great because it's like, as an independent artist, you don't have the backing of a major company. You know, I put all of my funds up for this, so yes, my band, they help promote and they help push too. But it's like, when something's your own, you go above and beyond that because it's your own, something that the brand you created, you know what I'm saying? So like, the band pushed and I just kept pushing. I was in my phone texting it to people, sending emails, DMs, hey, go check the album out, do this. And so for everybody to actually do it and they actually liked it, man, it was like one of the best feelings, because the music was recorded in 2019. The album was supposed to be out in 2020, but then we fell behind and the pandemic happened, and
right.
then we were going to release it. We had to end up pushing it, and so it kept. And so at first I was getting frustrated, and then I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna just wait, be patient. So everything was finished back in December, but I was trying to wait for the perfect time, and then right around the time the world started back opening up, I'm like, okay, it's time. And and people, and they're still streaming it, they're still getting it, so it's exciting. But
Yeah.
for there is more room to go, like, and grow. Yeah, it was dope coming out number one on the iTunes charts, but it's like, now I want to get the number one on the billboards. That's my, you
Right.
know, like, that's my thing. So it's like, I celebrated the win, but I don't like to get too stuck on the win that I lose focus. Like, oh yeah, we was number one, we cool. Nah, it's that was fine. You still got work to do.
Right.
So yeah, but it felt great though. It felt amazing.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh my goodness. And honestly, I will say sky's the limit, right? Like,
Yeah,
obviously other things that you want to achieve, and I'm sure you will. I mean, you're going down the right path. So,
thank
uh,
you.
of course, congrats again to you guys. That's
Thank,
awesome. And how
thank
many
you.
are in your band again?
Seven, including myself. So it's me, Larry Dennis on percussion, Izzy Lemons on guitar, Keith Hammond on guitar, Rainier Hydnet on bass, Elliot Jefferson on keys, and Johnny Still on keys. So yeah,
That's
that's
dope. So, a couple more questions for you.
no problem.
So, we were just talking about biggest accomplishments, and I know that you've toured with a couple of celebrities, including Chrisette Michelle, who I love.
Why
Um,
I didn't tour with her. We were
oh,
doing
you
nah. So we were doing work on it was a single she dropped last summer. I
mhm.
don't even know the name of it. But I worked on that joint originally with her, and then the crazy thing, she was supposed to be on this album on Moonshine Music.
Mm,
But then that's when the pandemic hit and everything, you know what I'm saying? So it
yeah.
was, yeah, like, she was going to be on the album. Masego was going to be on the album. Like, oh, this joint was going to be even better than what it was. That's why I was like, ah, you know. But like I said, I've worked with her in the studio, so I haven't toured with her though.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
want to make sure make sure I.
You, okay, I must have read it wrong, or in my head, I probably just
Yeah,
put.
it's cool. It's cool. I just make sure because man, music community is small and people be like, man, he ain't never toured. Nope, 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 nope. Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. When I was reading the Baltimore article about you, I know that you did mention being depressed. Unfortunately, you had a couple of almost suicide attempts.
Yeah. Man, I tried. Yeah.
Yeah, so you were basically at your lowest point in life. And I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm also happy that you were able to kind of overcome that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I want to ask you, what did you do to overcome that? Did you go to therapy, or what was it that kind of helped you in that point of your life?
Main two things was I prayed like like never before. And then it was I started dealing with the issues I had. So it's like I knew what the reason for the depression was. It was because I didn't want to deal with the issues that I had, that I all the issues I tried to sweep under the rug. So it's like as a man, and when you're growing up, we're told, you're supposed to, and my family never even told me this, but it's like you develop this when you out with your boys or you're growing up, that you got to be tough, you suck it up, you all right, you don't cry, you ain't got to deal with, you know what I'm saying? And so you start thinking that, oh, this situation is nothing, I could deal with it, I'll be straight. And the thing is, you're actually not straight. And so once I started going back and tracing certain problems and going to the root of it, I'm like, oh shoot, I never dealt with that. So I started drinking heavy because I didn't want to think and deal with those issues that happened, because I was afraid of the consequences, or I was afraid of what people may think about me. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, and then you're told, you just develop this thing that I can't talk to nobody. I have to keep that in. And
Mm,
so then over the years, you're keeping so much in,
right.
and that's what happened, you know? And so it was like, I did go to therapy, but it honestly, the therapy wasn't the thing that got me to deal with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, I feel like when it comes to depression, we know what the problem is. So you just have to make a decision of, am I going to deal with it or am I not going to deal with it? Because
Right.
when therapy, guess what they're going to make you do? Deal with it. That's why you're at therapy, to talk, to get it out. So I really had to just, I said to myself, I said, man, listen, we got to handle this. Cause I'm like, it got to a point like, yo, I was drinking, I would start drinking like 6, 7 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I was drinking all the way up until the night. I was a functioning alcoholic. Like, it was bad. Like, I was drinking moonshine and was still able to function. That's when I knew it was bad. Like, I'm drinking moonshine straight and it's not affecting me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, so the main thing was like I honestly for real just prayed, and I really just started dealing with the issues, and I started going back to people, having conversations, and I had to prepare myself that things that may have gone on in the past, everybody may not be forgiving, everybody may not want to deal with you, and you have to accept that.
Right.
And so because it's like at this point you just have to deal with it so that you can move on.
Mm-hmm.
I started going back, I started having conversations with people and stuff like that. And then once I started dealing with everything, like it came off. So it was like, well, there's honestly no reason for me to drink like this, because I was just drinking to not think about it.
Mm.
But now that I've dealt with it, I don't need this as my crutch to deal with this, because I've dealt with it. So now, you get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was like it took some time for me to gradually come down and stuff like that. But like, yeah, it was a rough process, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I I respect it and I love the process, because that process built me up for how I am today.
Right.
So now you get a whole nother Wes than you did years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Know how to deal with things. I don't mind facing things head on. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
okay with everything not going my way. I'm okay with if I make a decision, there's a good consequence or a bad consequence. You just gotta watch what you do. You know what I mean? And it just built me for who I am. And so like that's why I feel like I have the confidence and the strength to do everything that I do right now because of that entire process.
Right. Definitely. And I appreciate you, talking about that and
Yeah.
comfortable talking about that. And that's super huge, especially in our community. And you're absolutely right, especially with Black men. We're taught to, just Black people in general, we're taught to have to deal with things.
Yep.
A lot of our parents, like my parents are from Haiti, so they, immigrants in
Yeah.
general, they struggle a lot. So like with them, they're like, oh, I had to go through this to become who I am today. Like you have to go through struggle and you
Yeah.
really have to, you know,
Right.
like you said, sometimes, if you are struggling or if you are going through something, you kind of do have to deal with it because if you ignore those red flags, as
Yep.
it's just going to build up and then turn into something that you don't want to happen, right? So um,
Yeah.
it's tough. It really is tough, and it's great that you spoke about that. And I'm hoping that people that watch this can understand that it's okay to go through what you're going through, and if you need,
Man.
try to seek help,
I'm gonna
right?
tell you like this. I have so many conversations with people on this, and like you said, like I always tell people, like, man, if you have to go talk to somebody, go talk. There's nothing wrong with going to talk to a therapist. It doesn't mean crazy. It doesn't mean something's wrong with you. You just have something you need to deal with, and you need an outlet. Let that therapist be your outlet. Let somebody that's gone through the same thing that you've gone through be able to help and guide you through whatever it is you have going on. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, when you get to the place of try and not even wanting, but where I tried to take my life a few times. You know what I'm saying? Like I was at a whole nother low. Like that's that's a low you don't even wanna. I took pills, I put the gun to my head, I tried cut like I don't went through everything outside of trying to take acid. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you never want to get to a place where you're that rock bottom that you can't get back up because everybody doesn't always come back from it. You,
Right.
so that's why I was just like, and that's why I take that approach. Like I said, I make sure I deal with everything because I honestly feel like if I ever went back that way, I probably wouldn't come back. Cause it like that was it that took about 2 years for me to really get myself back to 100 and make a transformation. Like it was hard, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, but I'm always comfortable talking about it. Like I don't shy away from it because it's people that need to hear it
Mhm.
coming from somebody that's been through it. You
Right. I totally agree, and I appreciate that
know?
again. US.
No problem, no problem.
do have less than 2 minutes left, so I do want you to, of course, kind of, maybe quickly talk about, the type of projects or tours that you're currently working on, and of course, you can plug in your social media as
Yeah, right now, man, I just been hitting the studio with some of everybody. I can't even think of a list right now, honestly speaking.
well.
Yeah, I got to right now. I'm also getting ready to work on another EP that's going to come out. I can't release the artist name right now, but it's a few dope industry artists that we actually just got everything together that's we're going to collab on. So I'm excited about that. And like I said, man, the children's books, those are coming out. Those are like my big things right now in front of me that I'm excited to get done. But yeah, but if y'all looking to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at Wes got my own sound. My band name is got my own sound underscore. The website is gotmyownsound.com. We have a show coming up in Richmond, Virginia at the Hoff, July 30th. Y'all can check us out there. It's a few more shows coming up. I can't even think where right now, but for the most part, that's it right there. Y'all can follow me there.
Thank you, Wes. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. You've got about 30 seconds left. Thank you all for watching. My name is Christina, aka Tina Blaze. You all can follow me on Instagram as well at Tina Blaze. All right. Thanks, guys.